our guest anchor segment, and I want to cross over to other side of the studio to join our guest anchor, Joshua Arap Sang, with us tonight alongside his lawyer, Katwek. Again, thank you both for being with us. Let's begin with Tuesday. So the news comes in that the case has been terminated, no case to answer. How did you feel? Where were you? Who told you the news first? Talk to us about that moment.
It was one of the most happiest moments for me. We were at the DP's residence, and together with our lawyers and some leaders. So we waited for long. Tension was very high the whole day. We were there from midday all through to around 5 when the news came. Just around 5, so when my lead counsel called me aside, and Karim also did the same for the DP, and told us that the news is here and it's a mistrial. I couldn't understand what it meant. I was like, what do you mean? It means like no case to answer? He said, no, it's a no case to answer, but I'll explain later.
Yes.
And then I was so happy. We went back and, they made the announcement to the people. We were together in the room, and we went into singing, hugging each other, and, thanking God for all that. And we received prayers immediately from our dear sister, Honorable Naomi Shaban. She prayed for us, and after that we went out, and we were so happy, things that I've been carrying for the last 6 years.
Yes.
And here, court say that you have no case to answer. That was my best moment, and I want to thank God so much for that.
All right, and we saw you get emotional, so it must have been one of those things, just thinking about how the journey has been. And we'll bring in your lawyer later. I just want to focus a little bit more of what your journey has been. Take us back to when you were on that list, the Campus 6 as it was then known, when you first also heard, that you're a suspect, crimes against humanity, such gravity as far as the crimes and charges you were facing. What was that like as well?
First, it was shocking because I remember very well that some days before the announcement, we had been called by Internews, and Ocampo was there. We had been called from different media houses to help calm the situation when the names are read. They told us on how to help them handle the situation, tell people that this is a process, and whoever is named is not guilty, they will go through a process, and definitely, if they are not guilty, they will be vindicated later on. So I was there with Ocampo. In fact, I remember
as a journalist.
As a journalist, they called me. And after that, shortly we went for also another short seminar in Naivasha, bringing together head of stations. And the same thing was being told that, please, if these names come, please, can you help us handle the situation and that kind of a thing.
So here you are prepared to cover this big story, and then you hear Joshua Arap Sang, suspect.
So you can imagine how shocking that is. So we were there the same day we were coming back from Naivasha is when the announcement was to be made. So we came in the morning at 2. We were waiting for the announcement. But on the way when I was coming, Deputy President, my friend William Ruto, called me. Told me, Arap Sang, how are you? Where are you? I told him I'm in Naivasha, but I'm coming to Nairobi. He said, okay, have you heard this? I told him, what? I believe I've heard, there are rumors that I am there himself, and there are rumors that also you are there. I told him, what, me? How? When? And then we went to our chairman's office, CAS chairman office. We waited for the results, and yes, the name came, Ocampo announcing, and another one is Joshua Sang. And I was like, Joshua Sang is me. But he brought my picture, then I said, oh, so it is me. I just laughed.
You laughed?
I just laughed. Is it me? How? Then, I told these guys, is that me? Are you sure it is me? These guys are saying.
And talk to us about, your family receiving this news, your colleagues, your friends. How did life change?
It was hard. Because after that, we went home, met my wife. She couldn't believe. Yeah.
Did she ask questions?
Yes, why? How? Why you? I told her, I don't know. Then we just prayed and said, okay, fine, it has happened, it's a process, that's the way we have been told, let's, leave it to God. We said, God, when all this happened and the announcement and the names have come, God, take over. And he really took over.
And you have kids?
Yes.
How many at the time, and how old were they at the time?
They were 3 girls. And
How old?
That is 2010. She was 7 years. The first one was 7 years then. And so
What
that,
did you tell them?
no, it was good. For them, it was good because they didn't understand. So it was between me and my wife because they were so young to tell them anything. Until the day I was going for the summers now, that is in April, is when I told them, no, I'm going somewhere for some time and I will come back because it was a short time. Then, there was no need to tell them what I'm going. But, when I kept going, it becomes so difficult now to explain, where is this that you normally go?
Yeah.
I told them, there are some people who accuse me that I kill people, so I normally go and meet them in a place
You
called
actually
Netherlands.
said that some people accuse me of killing people.
So I normally go and meet these people there, and we discuss these things, how they think I did it. That was the one, because, I said, let me prepare them so that they don't get the same news from outside. It's better they get it from me. But, when the trial began now, it became so difficult because I would spend there like a month. You can imagine a month. Children are there asking my wife, where is our dad? We have seen him on TV. Why is he not coming home? He doesn't want us anymore.
Was there stigma? Did you lose friends or people saying, that one, stay away?
Not really.
Not to the
I would
family.
say not to the family.
Okay.
At least we got so many people coming close, visiting my wife now and then, even myself. Wherever I went, supermarket, wherever people say, Sang, we are shocked that you're among them and you are innocent. So
you were there sometimes for a month, long periods of time.
Yes.
Were you working? How is your family? Is your wife working at the time as well? How is you keeping the family?
Yes, my wife is working until even up to now.
Right.
But for me, it came to a time around 2012, around September, is when we began now the trial. I would be there for a week, 2 weeks. I said no. Now, there's no need to earn somebody's money when, really I'm not there. Number two is that I couldn't cope up with that. I said, let me just rest, let me take time, let me commit and dedicate all my time and energy to this case, because it is an animal that I must kill, because it was actually draining all my energy and time. But I thank God because on Tuesday, whatever you have been saying that we are innocent, these people, we were fixed, these are lies, the judges found that and actually said we had no case to answer.
Before I bring in Keegan briefly, so there's a lot of money, a lot of time, accommodation, the flights, the legal fees as well. How did you manage all of that?
When we started, I did it with friends.
Footing the bills?
Yes, when we started. But when we went there, there's a kitty for that kind of a thing. They had to assess me and say, am I able to cater for my bills? They found that I couldn't. So there were some forms we filled with my lead counsel, and they started now taking over paying their bills for the lawyers and the ticket and where I stay. But the other things I would continue meeting as a person. But I would say, yes, that is somehow the thing that helped me to some extent, because if they had said that I must meet the cost, then it means that I would have just stayed there, got a room and stay there, because I couldn't travel back home and that kind of a thing.
All right.
But,
there was assistance from the court.
Yes.
All right, Keegan, let me bring you in. We just really wanted to hear that journey, because must be tough for anybody to be able to go through that kind of a process. But no case to answer, and many now ask if the prosecutor decides to still bring back this matter, because that's not out of the window. The matter has not been canvassed fully. It's a mistrial. Are you prepared for that?
Yeah, we are definitely prepared. But let's start first of all with the receipt of the decision. Of course, as would be expected, the clients really wanted to know what were their options if the decision is made. And the options we gave them throughout were always that it would either be a case to answer or no case to answer, and that they are acquitted. So when we received the indication that, in fact, the determination is a mistrial, it took us completely by surprise. It took us by surprise in two respects. The first thing is that the concept, the proposition of a mistrial is not contemplated by the Rome Statute, and so it was a complete surprise. The second one is that in the ordinary course of things, if the judges were inclined to come to the conclusion that there is a mistrial, they would, in fairness, give an opportunity to the parties that these are the indicators, these are the considerations. these are the concerns we have, and which are giving us an inclination towards coming to the conclusion that there is a mistrial. In
and
our
they talked
situation,
about interference politically.
yeah,
Lots of it.
yes, but my point is this: that we were not given an opportunity to address the concerns the judges had,
Right.
that eventually informed their conclusion that there was a mistrial. Yeah, so the idea of a mistrial is something that took us by surprise. Now, coming back to the specific particulars of the question you've posed, whether we are ready, may I put emphasis that, of course, the first thing you encounter when you look at that decision is the mistrial. But I would want to emphasize that people should not lose focus on the fact that particularly Justice Fema and Justice Esuji did a detailed analysis of the testimony.
Right.
And they came to the unqualified conclusion that none of the witnesses had made out had testified in a manner that would have placed the accused persons on their defense, that they had a case to answer.
Okay.
And in fact, I must say, I distinguish the comments made by Justice Esuji, where on one hand he says that to take this case to the defense would be a waste of the judicial resources in terms of time, and secondly, that it would actually even affect the integrity of the court.
All right, so you're
Yes.
ready in the event this was to come back, you are ready to make sure this does not mean, not fully off the hook, you'd be ready for such eventuality?
Yes, we are ready.
Okay. Our time is running out, but briefly, did you ever, when you were there, psychologically prepare yourself to, leave a life behind bars for whatever period of time, if in fact you were convicted? Had you gone to that place to, prepare yourself?
Not at all. Not at all, because I believed in my innocence, and the charges that we had been given charges, looking at them, whatever was said,
Yes.
were all lies. So I believed in the court, knowing that it's an international criminal court, it's the highest court on earth. I believe they would go with justice, in that they would not just use lies to fix anybody. So there is no moment at any second that I thought that there will be a conviction on my side.
All right. And your final thoughts in as far as, going forward, you've heard what the chief prosecutor has said in as far as the witnesses and those people who are said to have tampered with witnesses are concerned. What do you think will be the way forward in as far as this ICC matter is concerned for Kenya?
The way forward, let's start. The prosecutor says that she wants the people who interfered with witnesses and who, in consequence, therefore, caused the abortion of this case.
Right.
And speaking for myself, and particularly for Mr. Sang, and I can dare say even for the Deputy President, so be it. They happily let them proceed with investigating the circumstances that relate to the alleged witness interference, and let's have a determination of it. Okay. I have every supposition that in all likelihood it will end up the same way, with an acquittal like has happened. But even as we go on with that process, I would really want to put a lot of premium on this other segment of this narrative. That for that case to have gotten to the level of an international court sitting over 6 years to try something that never was is a scandal. It is a scandal. Okay. The judges, by coming to the conclusion that there was no case to answer, has given us, has restored our faith in the court, in human beings, and in court. And in court. But may I say that the fact that people fabricated the allegations is something that should be given equal attention to the investigation of the witnesses. We should investigate how the prosecutor could get it so wrong, could rely on witnesses who are saying, for instance, referring to somebody who was dead 7 years ago, saying he was in attendance.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I want to now get Mr. Sang, who's our guest anchor tonight, to the other side of the studio. Come with me, sir. And as you do, I'm curious to find out, because prominent individuals that you had